On the previous video, we showed you how to do chunking on the sides. I can show you how to turn your quilt in the next video. Now we want to show you how to do the bottom border and the side borders at the bottom of the quilt. Now we can begin. First of all, we want to mode over to the border corner icon. Click, and we'll click the upper left outer corner. Click upper right outer corner. Click lower right outer corner. Click lower left outer corner. Click upper left inner corner. Click upper right inner corner. Click lower right inner corner. Click lower left inner corner. Now I want to select my corner, the loops corner, and the border, and transfer that. Now you can see how that placed the bottom and the corner pieces. We're not going to sew the side pieces yet, and I'll explain that as we go. So I think now we're ready to sew this. We have our start button right here, so I'm going to mode over to sew. Select it. Pick up my bobbin, and then click OK. Okay, cut my bobbin. I'm going to click OK to finish that. We've finished sewing this bottom border. Now, I have a good straight border here, and I didn't need to do a boundary, but I'd recommend that you do a boundary around. Now, I'd like to do a boundary just before I sew, because whenever you do too many boundaries ahead, the quilt will move when you're quilting. So I didn't, now this, we're going to do a boundary around this side over here to demonstrate that. So I'm going to mode over, one click, select that, and start my boundary right on that start point, and we're going to go around this. I'm going to click right on that. Here we go. Stop. Okay, now on the sides here, we're going to sew from the top down. We'll always go clockwise. I'm going to move my head right over that last stitch I had and mode over to measure. And click select. And I'm going to start my measurement right there at the end point of the sewing pattern. And end the measurement right on that first stitch here that we stitched of this one. Okay, now I can cancel my measure by pushing the cancel button because the program saves those measurements. My next step is I want to select the pattern I'm going to use for the border. and go to repeat patterns. Now since I'm starting to sew at the top of that right border, I'm going to use start point. This time, instead of putting in repeats, I'm going to put in the width from our saved measurements using click to transfer. I'm going to right click on total width and use the length of that. And also now I'm going to right click on the quilt angle and put in the angle. The head needs to be where I'm going to start. Since I have start point, I'm going to move my head up to that start point. Right on that. And then click OK. Now you can see on the screen where that's going to fit, and looking at my boundary, I don't think I need to adjust anything. So we're ready to quilt. Before I start quilting, I want to explain something. The reason I didn't use just repeats on here, I wanted the exact distance between this one and this one with the measure, because the shrinkage of the quilt will change that slightly. Okay, that's why we measured that. Okay. All right, we're going to quilt. I'm going to mode over 3 times and select. Pick up my bobbin and then click OK. Okay, now we cut our bobbin and then click OK. Now we're ready to do the left side border. And this time we're going to be sewing in a clockwise direction. So I'm going to start, you always measure in the direction you're going to sew. Maybe before I actually measure, I'm going to do a boundary. So let's mode over and do a boundary. I'm going to start right here. Okay, there's my boundary. I'm going to leave the head right on this, right here. I have the loops border selected. And right now I'm going to do a measure. So let's mode over and do a measure. I'm going to start my measurement right there on that last stitch. Now I'm going to go up here and click right on that one, that stitch of the last pattern, and cancel my measure. Now we're going to mode over to repeat patterns. And click select. Now we're going to sew going towards there, so I want my head right where I'm going to start sewing. I want this to be on the start point. That's where the head is at. And again, I'm going to change my width. I'm going to right click on total width and type in length. Click on that. Okay, now the angle, I'm going to right click on angle, type in angle. Now that adjusts that pattern so it fits the actual quilt. And I'm going to say again, we don't put in the repeats because we want to measure, make those patterns adjust so they fit. Now we're ready to do OK. And as we can see, that looks like it's in the right place. We don't need to make any adjustments. It's inside the boundary. We're ready to quilt. I'm going to mold over 3 times. Select. Pick up my bobbin. Okay. Now we cut our bobbin. Now we've finished sewing our bottom border, the corners, and the side ones, and they all come out just right. Well, that concludes sewing the bottom border, the corners, and the side borders. Happy quilting!